badu dani kyapsu chi dagi chunyagi pe sonam ki drola penje sangen rumba Chodan sogi chona na chanchu badu dani kyapsu chi dagi chunyagi pe sonam Rola benje zange ruba jo Chodan zoge jonana chanju bardu dani kyapsu chi dagi chunye ki besana Rola benje zange ruba jo Oda lame me dame wanji wambo tam jajen lodo juje jola java javan Sanje Sombarado Yeje Deve Jo Jo Panjada Dambe Dambe Chuni Jene Ye Ye Oye Gyadan Ludan Yeje Ge Rivon Dadan Ye Gyadan Dan Ro Yedan Yedan Va Damje Gyadan Dagi Chedan Do Lama Lodan Tuan Doje Chang Yase Juba Cheve Tuje Dadan Lobju Jeba Tadagi Shiju Chudan Jeba Jenje Lo Naga Dan Nyambe Zinje Dama Jeje Dun Don Dobja Lana Meba Yang Dama Dobe Zanje Je Koba Jumba Jene Jang Toba Ja Je Toba Jebe Cheto Dambe Chu Damu Sen Nyambe Konglo Kunju Je Jumba Liba Se Dabde Sambara Sho So for the benefit of all my mother's sentient beings or as vast as the space, numberless, I must achieve the state of the precious supreme enlightenment. Therefore, in order to be able to accomplish this task, now I'm going to listen the precious Mahayana teaching. So in this way, please generate the correct motivation. Nyeba Hirabje Mo, Hotong Lopsula Sum, Ganzage Dame Tianlan Beba, Churje Dame Tianlan Beba, Dele Hotong Jesu Lo Sumdo, Subject Sumje. Dambola Ni, Nyamja Nakatabu, Jongzu, Dang Jeto Jumatebe, Jongzu Lo Sumdo. So now, as for the Dharma that we're going to listen, is the section of the graduated path to enlightenment, the section of the superior scope, at the point of the explanation of the six perfections, more particularly the last two perfections, perfection of calm abiding and spatial insight. We've seen the perfection of calm abiding. Now, for the section of spatial insight, the way to train in the inside, that is the essence of wisdom, is in three main subdivisions. The first is establishing the selflessness of persons, second, establishing the selflessness of phenomena, and third, the actual method of developing the spatial insight. 아니 남색 사제 사제 이제네 갑장 예배네 차방 예배네 덴베 직장 예배네 덴베 도전 예배네 제네 사제 이제 So I forgot again the first as two subdivisions. One is the cultivation of during the meditative equipoise, the space-like absorption, and the second is during the post-meditative period, the auto-cultivate that all phenomena are like an illusion. So that type of concentration. Again, for the first
during the actual meditation session, during the cultivation of the space-like absorptions or realization is in four main subdivisions or outlines. The first is recognizing the object of negation. The second is that okay, I just read it straight from here. Determining that in order for the self to be truly existent, it must either be identical to the aggregates or different. The third is determining that truly existent self cannot be identical with the aggregates and that cannot be different from the aggregates.
Ngarato Kazakani, Yenesha Hajavre, Yenesha. Yene de Tamboji, Aneji Sosoke Bom Jab, Ane Bachandai, Ane Gomdai Jab, Generation Tamboji, Truby Tamle, Ane Maranto Tonto Nieja Zode, and Yereva. Tava Yimba, Tava Yimba. Dog, Koya Tawa Jeki, Annie, damage down like Jubi, Annie, Jigden and Jebet, Haton Jebu Yari. Haton Jebu.
So therefore, we went through the section of calm abiding, and for this, in order to achieve calm abiding, you have no way out but meditating, applying effort in the meditation, and every once in a while consulting the great text, the scriptures, and go back to meditate until you achieve stability on this realization. This is what you should be doing. So first is the development of calm abiding. Why do we seek the development of calm abiding? Principally, our objective is the achievement of liberation, the two types of liberation. So in order to achieve liberation means liberation from the sufferings of cyclic existence. So you need to see what uproots, what severs the root of cyclic existence of all the sufferings, and for that you need to develop the wisdom that realizes the selflessness. So that is the very cutter, what cuts through the root of cyclic existence. So in order to develop that, then you should seek what is called supramundane spatial insight. So this is what the subject that we are studying now.
All that energy you want Javania, Annie, G. Got it, Zamatomba Nikitan, Tianlambe, we are it. Without Zamatomba Nikitan, Madonna, Tabato, Tam Never. Tabato, Tam Never, Angel, the Janju Son of Soba. Garita Gari Yone, Tabatobi Amari, Lam Jizogi, Lam La Soba Tisu, Lam To, Toboji Yone, Gage Pingi Yamari, Tabatobalia, and Damian Tobi here, Dana Mabeba, Tapin Avenue.
So therefore, what we're seeking to see, to recognize, to realize the profound meaning of what we call emptiness. That is what liberates from cyclic existence. If you don't seek the generation of the profound meaning of recognizing and realizing, seeing directly the profound meaning of emptiness, no matter what practice you do, whether being renunciation, bodhicitta itself, the two stages of the highest yoga tantra, and so forth, those are not a means to achieve liberation. They're not the ultimate means to achieve liberation. Those alone won't take you to the liberation. So what we need now is to recognize and fully realize the profound meaning of emptiness.
야고라마 동가바 쳔베장 아니 네로 도비 히란 메데나 민중 장추선의 공제장 세비 자와줘바 메뉴베 대제 땡제 도미 담란데 온데라 송요리 땡제 연타 타바 토발이야 아니 다음에 도비 히란 메나 아니 장 연중다 장주고 살로 소바 가르다 가르모고 가르연에 히라편도스 게메브레.
And to support the fact that no matter whatever other practices or realizations that are not the realization of the profound meaning of emptiness, such as renunciation, bodhicitta, or whatever you want to put into it, that is not the profound meaning of emptiness, they're not going to serve as means to cut through the root of cyclic existence. And the quotation is from the Gentle Protector, Lama Tsongkhapa. Even after developing renunciation and enlightened mind, that is bodhicitta, you will not be able to cut the root of cyclic existence. Without gaining the wisdom that realizes ultimate reality, so devote yourself to the method for realizing dependent origination. So this is what Lama Tsongkhapa on this subject.
유토라 내고고요래 유토라 마네나 용고나바 유토데 간데 고고래서나 송저진네 친지망로바 쳔베 제부 담발라 때네 동년 된데 담바토바 제게 토사리양 제바 년제 라마야다 예메도 소바다바 온데 숨데 마사나 용고야마.
And so at this point, therefore, as we saw with the subject before, also for this particular realization, we need to acquire all the favorable conditions or the prerequisites for you to be able to meditate and realize emptiness. And there are mainly three of these. One is that you should seek the instructions on emptiness from a holy being, who has total knowledge of the scriptures and their commentaries. Then, while you're seeking the instructions, you're receiving the instruction, and you're practicing, you should exert with a lot of effort in the practice for accumulation of merits and purifying negative karma. And then, as the last condition or prerequisite, you should constantly make fervent requests to the lamas by viewing the lama inseparable from the deity.
Ordinary. 다공지 예나야 신다 손제 현지 지소 만랑와 아니 도도랑원들 레베 지부 담바데 게 아니 강송바데 땡라파바데 아니 곰장엔도 저기 냠소네 냠소래 발라 땡네 아니 땡라파 타라데 땡라파 차송스네 마샤바제네 아니 곰장엔도 저기 곰장 아니 냠뇽 줄라 제베 아니 지 자모동바니 주장로 소바 돼서 어딘데 주고 야래 마도 다가 다지 냠아지부 담바 속에 비게 냠지 난 차례래 단디 야고지 인지레 삼박이 이 다가서기 이체전을 리야야.
And for this, therefore, you seek the instructions on the meditation on emptiness, on the profound view of emptiness from a holy being who has thorough knowledge on the scriptures and the great scriptures and the commentaries on the subject, particularly the scriptures related to the philosophical points of, as explained by Nagarjuna and his spiritual sons, Nagarjuna and so forth. They're called the great trailblazers of India. So while you're receiving the instructions, then you have to meditate. You have to apply as much as effort as possible and go back, receiving instructions, study and meditate. You actually have to apply the meaning that you understand from the instruction without leaving it there just as a meaning. You have to bring it in and put it into practice. Otherwise, if you just leave the thought of emptiness out there, such as, well, the great lamas and the great beings of the past have studied and practiced that, have taught this must be something good, this must be real good. So that alone is not going to be enough. Once you receive you receive the instruction, you have to try to penetrate the meaning with your mind and apply that into meditation.
Oma bi hinda sonje di gombo luto je sunzan bi hinda sonje di ani karin yango pawa tame je di shi tianla hindi so de ne son da hindi so de ne hinda sonje hindi ji so mandang do de rang don di tungen 단데 오마비 힌데 손절이야 아니 공부를 줬다 선도 미힌도 손절이야 아니 베니샤 파보토네 언니니 힌도 손절하래 아니 현다돼서 진루 초니가 나니 현다돼서 가르려잖아 아니 힌도 손진레 뭐도 힌데 손제 말이 힌데 손제야 돼 hinda sonji yenji jiso mandama sosogus ane langa sabatava deliya hindi suenjes hindi suenzin ziyade hindi suede de tsaju din zingen deliya hinda suenzin.
So now, when we talk about the great trailblazers, mainly we talk about Nagarjuna as the trailblazer of the original trailblazer of the Madhyamika philosophy, and Asanga as the original trailblazer of the mind-only or Chittamatra philosophical school. So there is a difference in between trailblazers and those who uphold the lineage of the trailblazers, so such as the 12 ornaments of philosophy, Chandrakirti, and so forth. Because the original trailblazer are only two, it means that they are new. They have paved the path of Madhyamika and Chittamatra. Those who come after, who have picked up that particular philosophical school or tradition and practice and comment on it and so forth, so the Chandrakirti and so forth, those are the followers of the trailblazers.
아니 얍세키 지선당 신제 지선당
So for us, in this particular context, we are followers of the system of Nagarjuna and his spiritual sons. So these instructions are related to the Madhyamika philosophy.
아니 네 월이야 아니 파고하다 아니 거래인 거 루변 루장한다 아니 이겨하다 아니 나와 잡았다 돼서 공부로만 쳐장된다서
and the spiritual sons are such as Aryasura, Aryadeva, Nagabodhi, Buddha Palita, and so forth. So those were like the spiritual children of this system of Nagarjuna.
Yeah.
Master.
아니 다 갑상금 담 되네 아니 별을 아버지 차샤비네 아니 반대 나와다와다 아니 온 대속이 지선장에 병아라비 좋다 이 준비 망보지요 온 대속 강을로게 반대 나와다비 수어디 단대전에 심통의 별이야 계시로바니바 마보지 종바래냐마.
So since the beginning of the first propagation of Dharma in Tibet, the view upheld by those great masters who brought Buddhism into Tibet was the view of Nagarjuna's spiritual sons, the perfect view of Madhyamika as taught by Chandrakirti and so forth. So since the inception of the Buddha Dharma in Tibet, that was the view upheld by those great masters.
아니 별이야 주다 망보지 다요라 바사게 간이 나서 주다 망보지 예배 연사 주다 소수 토멜르 토마 길르벤 돼서 간걸로 어다 이겨라다 아니 나와다와다 언데서게 로서송이라리
Therefore all those great masters of Tibet, those who initiate the various Buddhist lineages in Tibet, such as the Sakya and Kagyu and so forth, all those great masters at the beginning, they all were upholders of the perfect view as taught by Nagarjuna and his spiritual sons.
배아버지 차샤비에나 아니 거주기 아니 마바다 마발로다와다 아니 제도 밀라다 아니 다발하지라 아니 지 가리యం가 파모주발라서 온데서 마보지 아래 거주리 토면 러벤트서 아니 타유가 따와 주반에 방송등에 마보지요. 다니말이 얘네 다가라지 니말이 야마 상바와다. 아니 짐반 양알로 서거든데 마보 중요해. 아니 지 사자리 아니 건건조 제보네 손데 아니 사정 고만나가 온데서 간걸로 따와 들로르고 따와 추반나와 나한테 근데 마음 중요해. 온도서래.
Like if we, for instance, in the Kagyu lineage, the great Marpa, the great translator, the great Lotsawa Marpa, and his closest spiritual children, such as Milarepa, the great physician of Dakpo, and Pamodrupa, and so forth, like all the originators of the different branches of the Kagyus. They were all upholders of the Prasangika view of Madhyamika as taught by Nagarjuna, and also for the Sakya, for all the great Sakya masters, such as Drunguchoge Papa Rebelo. Like the five great lamas of the Sakyas, those who came at the beginning, Sakya Kunga Nyingpo, Drogon Choge Papa, and so forth. They were all upholders of the highest Prasangika view, and as well as in the old school, the originator Padmasambhava, along with the 25 close disciples and so forth. They all propagate the Prasangika view.
on dene ma yondu ane kona do duja ke long dang tyumba ane uma chetande ane uma chetande chetu na so ba chung yo chetu na so ba chung chetu na so ba chung ba le dene ane ju chi le ya 아니 인조고 두자 망보지 아니 로도고 공부다 나와다비 공부다 온데 속고 로도다 나라다 나서봐 아니 상제 장다 대속고 공부 친지 망로바데 아니 많이 해보지 아니 그거 쇼거든.
So however there was a period in which, although all the great originators of the lineages of Buddhism in Tibet were upholders of the perfect and mistaken Prasangika view, there was a period in which, for some reason, the view itself, the philosophical view, degenerated, the understanding in Tibet. And we should, it is important for us to understand why, how this might happen. This happened because although the great masters they all elucidated the view thoroughly clearly and really down to the very essence of the meaning in the unmistaken way as taught by Nagarjuna, Buddha Palita, and so forth. What happened is that along the way, master, disciple, different ways of explaining the view were adopted by different disciples, who in turn taught their own disciple, who in turn taught their own disciple, and so on and so forth. So the way of explaining the perfect view was not. It comes down to a point in that there is somewhat watered down. So the understanding. The way of explaining the view is not anymore peerless. Therefore, the way of understanding the view from the disciple it is also unclear. It gets to be unclear, and it gets to a point that it is difficult to pin down the very bottom line of the object to be realized by the view. So in this way, the view went through a period of degeneration from the beginning, the inception that was totally peerless, down to a point in which was degenerated, and that's the reason.
하바도야 아니지 장관로만 동가바 전부 아니 별 간쟁기 용네 아니지 폐비 두급 인들이야 아니 장관라면 비게 따와디 zaman 동반이 주던 타토베지 제주제사데 도 공부해도 다와 타토 제주제사데 하장기 관보종 하장기 관보종네 아니 다외 과들이야 야고제 마조나 아니 되게 매바디 챈바연다 아니 야가리 제주제니 야가리 수숑도 냐마 펜드다 잡텐데 숑도 숑면도 펜드다 임바 잠지기 되게 아마렌데서 다와가 토리야 숑면지 토리 여가데 수숑도 따주 아니 야가리야 로변 로장 쇼요래 로변 로장 디디 로변 로장 쇼요래 로변 로장 로변 로장다 아니 조신 민주바 쇼요 조신 민주바다 로변 로장다 대소 쇼도 언제서 다와 뒤주 나오살이야 아니 나 양관라마게 다지 벌이야 다와 뒤주 제사디 아니 카과주 여반이었던 다 야간에 패고 공네 다 야간에 루장다 루변 루장스는 공부를 루기물로
long nagabody madam nagabody madam
임바래 루장 루이장주
ngosulomani madam
ngosulom
long
언데 소쇼요가 단디 패고 공네 아니 호다바도 패버려 놓스바 호다바도 패주 아니 호다리 호다 주신 나가 전전의 쉬네 당아 다와데 투리 태보지 자니면도 데르산이 간디슈사데 시라 관보래 근데 인상 다 다와데 제주 자갈이야 아니 자갈이 많지 뭐 탑시 자니면도 다와 트메지 마냐나니 민리버리 다와 트메지 아니지 쇼사지 자네 다 카고레 손에 아니 손주 아니 호라 주신게 아니 쉬었답답답답 제네 쉬었답 호라 주신게 쉬었답답답 제네 아니 언제 나머래 쉬었답네 밥신에 밥 해나 대로마 대는 좀봐 아니 앞잡지 저기 요래 언제서 가고를 뺐다 롱탕지 류는 hin기 아니 강이 싫어 용거래 단디 밥 마편에 야그래 아니 계시 니기 아니 지 다와티주 제사디 자가란 배워 지금 말이 아니 공례야 아니 차도기 예 양양식이 차도에 공부需求를 자난도지네 공부需求를 해서 된대송게 되네 아니 예를 뭐지 야갈이 패만 더
So then we come in the period of the great gentle protector Tsongkhapa. At his time, at Rinpoche's time, the situation of the perfect view, of Prasanka view in Tibet was quite grim. In fact, for many, many years, Rinpoche searched all over Tibet to find someone who could unmistakably present the profound view of Prasankika without success. There were lots of people. There were also people who actually had realized emptiness, and yet they could not explain to Rinpoche in a way that he wasn't satisfied. He wasn't satisfied. He wouldn't grasp the real subtle points. So he had off at a certain point with 500 disciples or ordained monks to India. He thought, okay, I have to go back to India. The Master Luyan, we might think is Nagabodhi. The Master Luyan is still alive, and therefore, Rinpoche thought, I'm going to take all these disciples with me at the feet of this great master in India. So he embarked in this journey. He reached Lotra. There is a southeastern part of Tibet where you, after that, you cross the border, I think, with Burma, and then you can enter India. And in this place, the great Mahasiddha Nanka Gyaltsen was living, the Kadampa Lama, Nanka Gyaltsen. So Rinpoche went to meet Nanka Gyaltsen, and he explained to him the purpose of his journey. He was with 500 monks. And he said, I searched for the perfect view all over Tibet. Nobody is able to, that I found, nobody was able to explain the view to me to a total satisfaction. There's always something missing. It wasn't clear. Although they were realized masters, they weren't able to present the view totally to a satisfaction. So therefore, I'm thinking of going to India for this purpose. But Nanka Gyaltsen, the Mahasiddha Nanka Gyaltsen, somewhat dissuaded Rinpoche of taking this trip. He told him that the trip would be devastating for the disciples, for their health. Lots of people could die. And even once if he reached India safely, it would be difficult to find the masters, and then there would be the return journey. He somewhat was able to dissuade Rinpoche from going to India, searching for the instruction on the Prasangika, and he told him, look, I see Vajrapani, I have the vision of Vajrapani, why don't we inquire whatever questions you have? Acting as a translator to inquire to Vajrapani. So in this way, he was able to dissuade Rinpoche from going to India.
Oh, you 차도기 따여 거리야 아니 망보지 송요래데 얘나야 예름 쟁기 양지 마천비 추고 손다고 양 가실래네 양도 지 또서지 주당기 토니 또서 마디베 손다고 텐데 좋네 아니 예름 쟁랑기 아니 코다고 남제대 튼 코다고 남제든 니트네 아니 어가 휴롱 휴상 야소 푸대자바 내 소리야 아니 자양 조니 예전 잠에양 조니 아니 로 마음버지 그린간들이 자양 조니 데르산이 요래 예다 로카 추론 추상에서 폐용의 소수요는데. 아니? George 폐용.
George, you've been to Urga?
로카 추론 추상에서 지름 붙인게 따와 그 꼴이야.
Rubina Peño, io sai. Did you go to Urga Cholo? Yeah?
따와 그 꼴이야. 아니, 예전 자양 루야기 내나서 차사사기 돌레요리 다간나시 내대 표사기 돌레요리 아니지 단단 면로 유베 계셔리 ngāngi 로마뇨
No.
유베 계셔리
So what happened, at a certain point, what happened that so Rinpoche began to have interview with on the view, on the profound meaning of the view with Vajrapani, having the Mahasiddhananka Gyaltsen in between, like a translator. And he was able to put forward lots of questions, yet yet Rinpoche wasn't satisfied with the answer he received. Some people said that because the translation was not impeccable. Some people said that it was Rinpoche showing the aspect of, for specific purpose, showing the aspect of not pinning down the answers as he wished for with Vajrapani. And one reason or another, Rinpoche again he embarked in a long retreat project in order to develop the view. He took along with him the 8 closest disciples, and they all went scattered in caves around an area that is called Öga, where you have Cholung, Chusang, there are different areas around Cholung, Chusang, the Rainbow Cave, and so on and so forth. And for several years, along with Rinpoche, they all remained there, scattered in different caves, practicing, accumulating merit, purification. As a matter of fact, Rinpoche undertook an incredible, intense practice of purification and accumulation of merits. I've been told, because I've never been there, but like Venerable George, Venerable Rubina, other people here in this room have been to these places, that even nowadays, the stone sort of slab where Rinpoche accumulated several million prostrations is still there, with the imprint in the stone of the full body of Rinpoche. Even the stone, there is a large flat stone on the ground used by Rinpoche to offer mandala and so forth. All these things are still there. Yet I've been told, because I myself haven't been there. Rubina, no. Chola, no. You've been to Öga, right? I think so. So anyway, other. No.
어떤 로는 문에 전에 장관하고 동갑에 준비 진주지이나 아니 장관하고 동갑에 준비 예전 잠배양 로사기 로네한테 소리 야오 진비야나 아니 다기로게 다공주선데 근데 인면에 예전 잠배양의 마음 근데 아니 창에래 차버래 언데서 딴데 통구로
Lari. And so anyway, Rinpoche with his disciple went to this long retreat where Rinpoche sought to achieve the pure vision of Manjushri and so forth. So, however, as I say, there are some people here in the taking teachings that have been to Öga, where Lama Tsongkhapa practice. Nowadays, there are lots of people who are going to Tibet, right? I keep hearing of people who have been to Tibet, who are going to Tibet, and so forth. So most probably a great majority of these people, they just go there for vacation or they take trips to Tibet. But for us, since it seemed to be relatively easier nowadays to go to Tibet, for us, if we were really followers of Rinpoche, then that trip is a must. We should definitely go there to Tibet and go to Öga and these places where where the founder, the founder of our lineage, practice and achieve realization. So once you're there, you'll be able to understand much more in depth the type of practice of view, meditation, and action that Rinpoche, along with those disciples, were able to undertake at that time. So it is an important place to go.
아니 제르모 챙게 제돈 잠배양 주 아니 제돈 잠배양 공고 슈기 제 아니 초지리 제돈 잠배양 공고슈 아니 초지리 아니 제돈 잠배양 가로슈니 다 이제 겐데스 자모 오면 따와 아니 겐데스 따와 지용그랬어 근데 슈 제베 아니 타마되네 아니 제르모 챙이야 아니 예수 좀 버려 다 말이 왜가 말이니 지슈 가와동네 예수 좀네 단지난 예수 돼야 되느냐 아니 자가 나로리 롱슈비 아니 냐만기 토니 아니 지 통바라 아니 곰베 냠 아니 소소기 이시리야 샤네 통용하다 어디에 요소래 아니 원시기 원송도 메단 메체바는 신전에 통딩에 다 지름을 전에 단다 원시기 메단 메체바는 시제된 자양도 체네 아니 제된 자양이 아니 달로로 수준에 아니 다공 교송 강기 차네 크바메바 이 세고야게 내년 잡지 언제 전에 차요.
And so Rinpoche succeeded in to achieve Manjushri. Achieving Manjushri means he actually succeed to have the pure vision of Manjushri. Now, what are these pure visions? There are different types of pure of phenomena labeled with the name of pure vision, Shesive, or literally beholding the face, the holy face. Some they come about due to manipulating the flow of the psychic winds. Due to that manipulation, something appears in the form of deity or whatever, and that also is called pure vision. Then there is a type of pure vision that comes due to the experience of the mind, because the mind meditating on a particular subject for a period of time, and then that wisdom appears in the form of a deity. So it is still your own wisdom in the aspect of a deity. And then there is also the pure vision that is something behold with your naked eyes, where you can have a contact as from human being to human being, and vice versa. So that was the type of pure vision achieved, that is considered the reliable one, the most reliable one achieved by Rinpoche. So he was able to progress in his practice, understanding, and meditation of the profound view while inquiring, like meeting directly Manjushri and asking, inquiring, making question, how is this achieved, how it is done, what kind of things you have to do, what kind of thoughts, process, and so on and so forth, and put that into practice and cross-check with great scriptures. So eventually, on the basis of this, Rinpoche achieved the perfect realization of emptiness. And moreover, Rinpoche during that time, as in the same fashion, and the constant vision of all the lamas of the lineages, all the great upholders of the Prasankika view, such as Buddha Palita and so forth. As a matter of fact, he's right on some of the writings of Buddha Palita that eventually Rinpoche manifests the realization, the perfect realization of emptiness. This story has taken so long. No, so the reason why it's taking so long to give this introduction is because we generally understand that there is this opinion that the teachings of Rinpoche, the Gelu system is so incredibly pure and powerful. So one should know why the practice of view, meditation, and action in the lineage of Rinpoche is so special. So in order to know that, you should know where it comes from and how it was being achieved and propagated. So that's why we went through this very long introduction. But I've just given real bits and specs. So now let's take a restroom break.
Lama Tonga Bechimbe, Gomba Shani, Gomba Shani, and Tabde Sheva, you know. Tandili Yatambo, Kanzaki Tamen Tana Beva, Betu to Sonya. There's somebody got it, son. Hijabale, Hijabasiade, Uma Hijabare, Uma Hijabade, Sholoka Hija Yodan, Hijabas, mean Tabajere, Zengende, on Jere, Ruben Pavalan in there. Hijabale, Suna member Tambondo, Pato. Banyan Dobata, Tama Daji Gundoba, Gangi Hiti, Kevain. On the Sumba. Sumba Nanhingi, Lende never David Tower so. Ani, Chibuchung in Capsulan Dog. Ani, Bado Ganzaga Dada, Tama Chujida, Dogwe. Gorin Yamlen to Cheve, Nangata Tumban, never yin song.
Là, de Pavla.
Pavla. Yanda Sonya de Hijabale. Sumana Hingi, Landa Nabatavi, Tawa Sochi, Chunglingi Kapsundo. Landa Nabatavi, Tawa
No.
Landa. Never Tavi, Tawa Tilia Kabajan. Kyabje, land and Hamatavi Tower. Pado Ganzagi Dada, Ganzagi Da, Dog. Tamachuji Dan Dog, Dobade, Yamlen to Cheve, Nanga the Tumban, they were yin
Papala. And so now Rinpoche begins with a quotation from the 400s. The 400s, it's a text composed by Arideva and is in 400 stanzas or verses. That's why it's called the 400s, in which it says that that has refuted the view of non-karma, or that means of the non-existence of evolutionary actions and their results, and that has refuted the view of self of person and the self of phenomena.
Tony Talan Dejig Rigwa Telia, Anne Tandre Rigwa, Namdun Rigwa Lasova, Rigwa Mamboyore. Red Yinaya, Le Tambo to the Go David Chedo, Anne Chief to take Rigwa. Chief to take Rigwa, Lia Neji Jan. Oh, Jerem Bachanda, the love you to Java. Kaji didn't song with the chief to take it. Chief to take it, Ribakani, Neki Jan, Gakjang Evene, Chabang Evene, then be Chutang Evene, then be Tutan Evene. On the Sujani,
No,
song with Santo,
Jeremiah.
and Jeremiah Loju to Java.
No.
Kaji, God, there were you.
No. So among the different, the many different expositions and ways of presenting the profound view of emptiness in accordance with the Prasangika view, there are countless what we call Rigpa or logical reasonings to achieve that particular understanding. And in one of the presentation of Rinpoche is that of incorporating all the different reasonings in what is called the four points. George, can you go through the 4 points? Chitune peripada. Kalsungudu. Like. Yes. One different. No, if you can you spell out the four points?
If you're talking about the 4 essential points,
Yeah,
you don't mean here.
4 essential points. Yeah.
So recognizing the object
The
of
object of
negation.
negation. Yes, this recognizing the object of negation.
Establishing the privation that it has to be, that a truly existent self would have to either be one where the aggregates are different. We have it in the book.
Yes. Okay. So those 4 points are somewhat incorporating all the different reasonings used, different way of using reasons in order to understand the profound emptiness.
다 담보 각자 내비네. 각자 내야 돼. 내니 각자의 양호지 내고. 각자의 각자의 망해나. 아니, 되게 쇼게 내가 된 두고야 말. 내가 각자의 내게 따다 야고지고요. 각자 내비 내들. 단지 근데서에서는 요래 송요리 요라게 준주청 딱베 뭐라 말이 바티 우면 즈마이 내 손바는 신게 강 고주다 매주 다데 뭐마즈나 단데 지가고 여러분 각자 댐진데 가고 여러분 고주다 매주 다데 뭐마즈나 매주 다 뭐마즈나 뭐마즈나 티카비 내가 주 도고 여러분 내가 주 도고 여러분 내가 또 내가 티카비 내가 모신 말이었어. 도구야도 모신 말이었어.
So to begin with, the first is the key point of recognizing the object to be refuted or the object of negation. That needs to be a particular type of appearance that seems to be existing, that needs to be negated, that actually is in fact not there. So how do so this the first point. The first point should lead you to recognizing the object of negation. This is a crucial point. This is the very first one, and it is the major one in order to realize emptiness in what is called a non-affirmative negation. So here, what you seek to find with the recognizing the object of negation is to recognizing a mere negation, something that needs to be negated, that is not there and needs to be recognized as such. This is like recognizing the object of negation. It is like recognizing precisely your target point. It is like in the text, the example is when with bow shooting. If you don't see your target, you'll just be shooting at random, and you won't achieve your aim. So in the same way, if you don't recognize the object of negation, you'll proceed basically like a blind person in order to recognize emptiness. Or another example, in which I said, is where you are looking for a thief. Something is being stolen. You're looking for a thief amidst in a crowd of people. If you don't know perfectly how this person looks like, it is impossible for you to find it. So in the same way, if you don't know perfectly what is and how is this object to be negated by your meditation, the object of negation, so you won't be able to find it. So this is the first point, is very crucial. So therefore, since right away at the beginning, your target should be you should have a grasp of your target. So now the object, the target object, is self, what we call self, and is a particular type of self that needs to be recognized. It's a self that appears to be sort of self-existent, or like a truly existent entity, and so forth. To support this, again from the 400s, regarding that, the term self means an independent intrinsic essence or nature that entities possess wrongly. Selflessness is on the other way, selflessness is the absence of that.
다 내주 다데 코란데 견더래서나 응야래 뭐시직 해주 해타래는데 연지 장라 라마레바 랑규 문에 여바암 야나 야나 뒤바메지 라마레바 랑게 원이지 투투가 현이야 그래서
So, what is therefore this self that needs to be negated? The self that needs to be negated is that self that appears to be existing independently from any condition, or not arising from any other phenomena but itself, like an entity from itself that is there on its own side. So this is the particular self that we seek to negate, that is the object of negation, that we need to be able to recognize.
안데리아 치기 현양 담당 저버저베 갑레 버르비 저버저베 갑레 버르비 카 워탑상 니 용그레데 예나야 용토네 망에노 용에 털 소속이 용에 털 망에나 가장문진 말이죠.
And here it is said that based on phrases or colloquial expressions, discussions, debate, analysis, you might be able to understand what is the meaning of this self that needs to be negated, what is inherently existent self, or a self that exists on his own side, on his own nature, by itself, not dependent, and so on and so forth. You might be able also to be so well versed and in the words that you're able to debate and to defeat your opponents in philosophy and so on and so forth. And yet, if this understanding, it is not a part of your experience, it means if you don't have an insight in your mind of what this self is, words alone are not going to be of any help. So this is something that it's an understanding that should grow within your mind as the mind experiences itself.
아진의 인바인자 연지 셰베 고와 측주다 저주다 멤버 랑기 젠 랑기 류 젠 아니 롱올이야 냠뇽 젬바 유바지.
So therefore, it's not a matter of being articulated in the words or understanding the words received from someone else, or somebody explains, and just the mere understanding of those words is not like the mere understanding of the word of what is the object of negation and how to recognize and so forth. That is not what we're talking about here. What is meant here is for the actual experience of that growing in the mind. So the mind having the experience of what is the object of negation, not just, is not an intellectual, the intellectual part is not enough.
Kyabje yagoji mangena dene rupchoji rikwa mambushi yore deso tangha janaya tenri shibi chesalun yoyagi nyaka shira yore. Tenri shibi chesalun. Kyabje yagoji mangena dene rupchoji rikwa mambushi Kyabje tole tangba yinaya tenri shibi chesalun yoyagi shira yore.
So, and in the process of in the process of analyzing and getting to the point of understanding of what is the object of negation, what is the self, inherently existent self, you might be using a lot of different reasonings, like a multitude of reasonings from a multitude of point of views approaching the subject. Yet this should be done extremely careful, because if you don't recognize accurately what is the object of negation, there is the risk of destroying the dependent origination. It means you risk of missing the point, and also establishing that dependent origination doesn't exist at all. So that is destroying destroying the dependent origination. So this is something that should be approached very carefully. So is this the way I'm explaining? Do I communicate with the general public?
Oh, yeah. Oh, the Nganzil Henge, Dangzil Henge, and Gaza Gam go on Yinta, Dangzil Henges and Nganzil Henges and one day, Ngaram to Julia, Jundo, Mulam Tunjeli Yore, Mulam Tunjeli Yore, Red Yenea, Jandang Machevi Gablia, Nganzin Hengeti, Ngaram to Julia, Jundo, Mulam Tunjeli Yore. Yore de Yenea, Kojanda Machevi Gable, Ku Nang to de Savum, Savoji, Dengmar, Nang to the Savoji Yungumare, Change Gertugi number of Daji, Sanlo Tology, Dan music, Duganda, which is Shake, and then so doing Zershang of Tendeta. Young, don't under Tendeta town, and a young so gobble Zershang of Tender Gertugi number. Chamboji, Jung, Tamlia, and a cough. Savogen,
Now, from the point of view of what we call simultaneously born self-grasping or self-grasping of person, so this particular delusion, this particular hallucination of a self that in fact doesn't exist at all, but it seems to be there, is always there, is there with us constantly, while even during dreams, during wake time, is always there. Is always there, yet when you inquire about it, when you start to inquire about it in the search for the recognizing, in the search for recognizing the object of negation, the appearance of this self-grasping, it is somewhat hidden. It is not there. So unless is support by certain conditions, it is difficult to recognize it, to pinpoint it. So what are the conditions? Basically are emotional states of happiness and suffering. During those emotional states of happiness and sufferings, this self, I, which we call it the ignorance of self-grasping or simultaneously born self-grasping, becomes really clear. Like when something bad happens and we respond, we have an emotional response to this suffering, or when something good happens, and yet we have another emotional response of happiness. For instance, someone praises you, or something really good happens to you. So that self that seems to experience that particular emotion comes out. The appearance of that comes out really neat and clear.
아니 소소리 양어서 레바예네라 아니 양양달이 럽니 아니 소소가 고바예네라 아니 소소리 뭐서 럽니 레바예네라 난 지란 민정보리 지심청보 정보 아니지 야고래 메토 강가로기 롱바나기 미 망쳐지기 저런 땅았던 거 누가 생겨도 지 고시 야 땅았던 거 누가 생지 지 고시 아니 야, 난 진짜스 게 좀버스 게 매데 얘네 폰도 그런도기가 정보 임바 아니 정당 유바다 미 양다 만다지 임바 아니 그런도 그 천나 된지 용기 요하려 삼네 아니 야 디제 고야 라요
Doesn't language no.
That's
Ngarsin language.
Ngandir henjedi, ya lang yoni. Ani, ngali ya tindi shegi yo yimbari sambarabati. Ani, lavni. Ani, ngali ya tindi shegi yo yimbari da samni. Choto toli tindi shegi yo yimbari, tindi kechaji yo yimbari samni. Ani, 갈하는 전 아니 야 근데 난진 현재 랭링보전 아니 주 차용.
For instance, whether being rumors or whether being something that you hear directly spoken to you, such as he or she is so capable, so intelligent, and or you hear that somebody around the people of the place talk about you in this way as being an incredible, capable person, very virtuous, very intelligent, very fortunate, or someone comes over and praises you and tells you directly, oh, you're so good, you're doing this so fantastic. And in your mind, you develop this, although I might not have these qualities, but people talk about me in this way. This is so great. And that wave of happiness, that emotion, raises within you. So right then in those moments, that what we call the self-grasping, or the self that appears to be inherently existent from his own side, becomes it comes out within it so strongly, so clear, so definable. So that is what we call a simultaneously born grasping or self-grasping.
Yeah, 배차비나. 아니, 야, 매직이야, 저란이야. 매직이 소소리야. 아니, 그도 그러려니. 저란 남주야고 인삼 된득이 요승에. 된득이 요대 저란 가상에 샤리 증전에 아니 대단 대시 잡아 쳐쳐다 지지 망보지 아니 저랑 꼬마 뿌연도 왔어. 꼬마 뿌연도 왔어. 꼬마 조용도 아니 그 남자 아니 나리야 꼬마 보지 마좀 알리 꼬가 좀 삼니. kukatsobadi ngaliya name nyenge chevares. Na zan nenaya nyevake yagi taphi tambare samne. Ani yadanjila. Anga li yinangi masha tajwe yingi ne mati tajwe yin samne. Ani nyingi jenni, nyingi jini tsu, ani ji ling bochi, dang jingye bochi, cha yung ju yore. Or di yang ngan zin jigi na tsu jigri.
Another instance, emotional instance, is someone comes to you and someone you know and say, well, because I thought you are such a great person, I invite you to my home, and I invite you over there. And yet, when you left, I noticed that this particular thing is missing. You must have taken it. So when you receive this feedback, immediately what you think, if you haven't done it, you think, oh, here I've been unjustly accused. I didn't steal anything, and yet this guy is telling me I'm a thief. And there is a resentment coming up, and right there, in the middle of it, there is this sense of I, this self, this I, that becomes so definable as almost like an objective entity on its own, right there, growing in the middle of your heart. So that is the self-grasping, or the simultaneously born self-grasping.
Oh, did I young you are? Oh, did I young you are? Then Kura Tendeji Godu Rabu Tende Godu Shuk Chambu Rabu Tende Majum Baje Dujon Yena, Dujondoni Yena Ani Do Se Kokawan Do Taju Ani Kaure Luigi Ting to Yavan Rabu Poru Yang Singi Ting Yu Devan Rabu.
So otherwise, during normal circumstances of non-emotional, not particularly emotional circumstances, it is difficult to find it, to see it. It is very difficult to see this hallucination, this delusion. At times, it might appear as being something on the body that is related to the body, to the physical aspect. Sometimes it might appear as something within the mind, or the mind itself. However, it is without those conditions, it is difficult to find out what really is.
Oh,
and the appearance of it doesn't come out that clearly.
Tande gagyang wentin de hajang ich Ribur Chamore, Gagyang wentin Ribur Chamore, de Kyabje jung, Kyabje ru chenani, ani ji Chetal Longyang Nyanga Shirayo. Ani yang de manan Tata Longyang Nyanga Shirayo. De Rambo Jung Mato and Diajimari.
So, and the way you implement in your meditation, in your analysis, in your analytical meditation, you implement this reasoning is very subtle. Because if you there's a technical term, if you over-pervade, if you go over with the pervasion, then you have the risk of getting trapped in either nihilism or eternalism, in the two extremes. So that is a great risk. So therefore, the point is very close to these two extremes. but it's not the extreme. So it's quite subtle, and the reasoning, the implementation, the way you implement the reason should be as subtle as much with great attention. You have to put it there with a great deal of attention.
Yeah. Ordinary. Yang Peji Shabi Yana, Piana, Yang Sajiki Ganpa Jenny, Yang Sachambo Jiki Ganpa, So Chimbayina. Oh, Nasumio and Dinema, Yang Sag Nalo Masumio and Sunday, Namdrachi Yungres. Namdrachi Yungres. Yang do Sum. Sum Mio and Sunday Namdrachi Jebe Gabdi. Nal Sum Mio and Sunday Sam City, Yabatan Mato. So Lu Sum Mio and Sunday Namdrachi. Navaje. Sin Sum Mio and Sunday Namdrachi and Navaje. Oh, Tindegi, Namda loss of Navajani. Not whom me Sunday. Solo you call me, you know? Tandere. Yangdo Hongju Ati. Yangdo Hongju. Ane, only young to Hongju, not ling our tea, not ling our hick. Oh, kick shying. Young such chambo, Jiki Ganpa, Chimbayana. Oh, not dinner Mazami over Samiati. Oh, now you lose home away, not lose the Zami over somebody. Near send the Zami over somebody. That you see, so oh, Tendeki, you are never. Chetangi Hunyaki Nachi. You're not showing.
No.
Oh, dear,
nothing.
Nothing.
So, for instance, if you find yourself on a high altitude spot, maybe near a precipice, and you look down and you see this great vastness, and and you get this dizziness with this feeling of I'm gonna fall down, like this kind of panic comes, like I'm gonna fall down. That is not clearly identified as if my body falls down. It's not clearly identified as if my mind falls down. Neither of the two. It's just a general appearance of very objective entity that feels that panic. So that is another example of, for instance, there's another instance of the object of negation, the self-grasping, the self-grasping appearing very clearly. Yet neither specifically being the body or specifically being the mind.
Yang Dende Songja, Piano Sarah than Devon City. Dohan so chi Kambata, Nan Trava Lausova, and Chabatani Mancheva, Ivan Tani Mancheva Jenny, Dai Nuju Sobi Tinto Dedan Jachung, Jachung Nyambe, Sarah than Devon City, Lingawa Shayong Dian, and de dancing over me, and until engine.
No. Or, for instance, something related to external phenomena, related to self-sense of phenomena, or self of phenomena. like take an instance of a great monastery, whether it be in Sera or Drapo, without analyzing whether the recognition of that particular, like Sera, is not Sera, the monastery, is whether you're talking about the physical structure of the monastery, that is the housing and so on and so forth, or without clearly defining that you're talking about the living beings living in those quarters, the monks and so forth. Just the general appearance of the monastery, Sera, as being itself, the monastery itself. So that is an instance, for instance, of, again, Ngarzin Lenkye, of simultaneously born self-grasping are related to phenomena.
No, Tam doshik si divi yana, ani, jen jayam yalam ke dire sombare. Chö kanta kala yang tetan te zesa, tetan te yi ngunzin jasa. Dagi che chong nyamba yi yu ding ni cha wong dini rigbi gabja tatu yin song. Kong song yan dire song sha.
Kyabje Rinpoche.
Me, jayam yalam.
Long.
Chö kanta kala yang tetan te zesa, tetan te yi hiasa, zesa zina, hiasa zina. Dagi dan che chung nyamba yi yu dini cha wong dini ribi gabja tatu di yin song. Denzin ji mikbi de so yang, di la zir song. Denzin ki mikbi de so de, o di re ji yin ba re song. Ko song ya. Yeah.
Say, I got the words, but didn't get the meaning.
Chö kanta kala, tetan te yi, pena kayu siya kusa. Ani ji kaba siya kusa, tinte. Chö kanta kala yena yang tetan te, zesa te, dayi che chung nyamba yi yu ting ni cha wong deni rigbi gaja tatu yi so.
Oh, dashi ne sunta kaza.
Dayi dan che chung nyamba. Dayi da che chung nyamba.
Dashi dan suda che chung nyamba.
Me dayi dan, ani, kala tawara peke. Chö kanta kan, zesati dayi da nyamba chi.
Dashi dan nyamba.
Dayi da nyamba.
Dashi dan rene.
Dashi dan rene ma re, dashi da nyamba chi chong song la. Di ribi ka jaya.
Okay. I mean, I hope I got it. So here, because I could read it from here, yet what the message I got seemed to be a little bit different. However, so let's say first why I understood, like what is the ultimate, the definitive object of negation in terms of having recognized what is that? It is when, based on whatever phenomena that appears, where the phenomena, that particular phenomena, and the basis of imputation of that phenomena appear the same. So that is the object of negation. That is like the ultimate object of negation, is when appearance of the phenomena and the basis of imputation of that phenomena appear the same, like the same, the Nyamba. So I read this particular thing now, as is in the text, from Jamya Mollam, explain the ultimate object to be refuted That is, here is talking about the object of negation, the self, the inherently existent self, and so on and so forth. So when is that you definitely see that it is refuted by logical reasoning, is a particular kind of image that forms in the mind whenever we think of some entity. So here, that's what Rinpoche said, on whatever phenomena you might perceive. So here, for entity, it is phenomena. Or whatever phenomena you perceive, it is what we are referring to when we call that entity by its name. The nature of this image is that it seems to exist from its own side and to occupy the same area as the qualities that serve as its basis of ascription. That is what we call, this is a little bit obsolete, some of the terms, we call it basis of imputation. That is the same as what is meant by the phrase, the object that is apprehended by the belief in Denzinki Mipe, in true grasping, real essence is called here. So what the explanation was that whatever phenomena, dashi da nyambe di nangwashan di ranki di tartupe gaja. Exactly. So whatever phenomena appears or you perceive, and when by perceiving that phenomena, there is no distinction of the label phenomena and the basis of imputation, but both seem to be as a single thing. There is no distinction, so that is the object of negation.
Ranja soje la songre, ngarandu soso jigole songre. Ngarandu soso jigole ya dedi nangwa chesu dele yenbe taji gagjaji nangsu yen mede soje juji shiva tamje maribe lebe wangi yunan jina ya demba na vichir. Xiansong?
No.
Ranja soje la dati nangwan chepsu dele yenbe taji gabja skemyon do songre. Do se taju soje tamewa nga taboli ya, nga tabu, ani yunan kare nang songna demba na vichir.
Demba na vichir.
Demba zidu ndere da.
Demba tu. No.
Demba tu ba na vichir. Yunan kang nang na yin demba na vi, nang su li yen me te, soche juji shiba yin mari vi levi wangi yunan jin na yang, demba na vi. Soche je wo yugi shiba yin tse te so yong zo de, lo shi re sung ya re.
No. And here also there is a quotation from Losang Choki Gyaltsen. The meaning which explains is that because since for every ordinary beings, for every ordinary beings, whatever phenomena appears to the consciousness, to the sense consciousness of ordinary being, appears to be as truly existent. There is not a single instance of non-truly existence appearing to the sense faculties of us ordinary beings. Every single instance of perception, it is like perceiving true existence or inherent existence. Therefore, since this ignorance permeates the minds of all ordinary beings, there is not a single instance of consciousness in an ordinary being that is not a wrong consciousness or mistaken consciousness. So the quotation is, the way is kind of translated reversed. The way the object to be negated by reasoning appears to the mind is not any different from the way that entities usually appear to ordinary persons like ourselves. So that's why Rinpoche said, whatever ordinary being perceives, whatever perception is there, that perception, that phenomena appears to be truly existent, inherently exists. So that itself is the object of negation. Okay? So here it says, the way the object to be negated by reason appears to the mind is not different from the way that entities usually appear to ordinary person like ourselves. This is because every mental state of an ordinary person is tainted by ignorance, and therefore every object that appears to the mind of such a person, of an ordinary person, possesses the quality of appearing to be truly existent.
So Kanda Kana Yang Yang Kanda Kana Gundoji Nawata Bembe Nawan Jibi Nawan Bayi Chate Chan Devdanji Dambana Chan Devdanji Damba Maresuni Zia Juni Meba Yiwa Meba Cha Tamjene Dambana Vicheris Sorry. They went in the Veston. They lost the treasure gentle. Teta Ranja Tama now la song. Datan Pumbo, Re Rawa Kamjin, Chu Ganta Kanaya, song. Garita Garina song. Gundoji Nawan, Diana Jivi, Nawan Bayi Chate song. Kundoki Nawata Dyanam Bajin Dini Chadeva Mato Yamare Sone Dyanam Kundoki Nawata Dyanam Divi Nawam Baji Chade Chan Devsangi Damba Nala Devsangi Damba Mena Ziju Yewa Meva Cha Tamjene Damba Navina Ranri Soji Lola Nawa Kan Sha Tamje Gagjata Mandive, Nansu Tikja Neve, Ranri Nanlu Diga Ran Gagji Nesu. So Tanta Nama, now until so Kangolo Gajina Nansu.
So, the Chinanki now, say your right. Chinanki now, can't touch. Chi, the Tachinanki, Chi, e non so quale tiene una sciaia la sopra di so cangalo gaji io rari c'era c'è un So therefore Rinpoche said this particular section of the text is very tasty and feels really important and useful. The fact that whatever, I read through the text as well, whatever appearances as us or for us ordinary being external, internal appearance, as appearances based on emotional appearances or external appearances of external phenomena and so forth, whatever is the true existence quality and the object that appears are totally mingled. They appear as the same. There is no distinction whatsoever. And that is what exactly is the object of negation. The object of negation is what is inherent, appears to be inherently existent. That means every single instance of appearance that we have throughout our life are exclusively appearances of true existence, and therefore that the object of negation is right there, is right there. And here it says, thus all the various entities that we ordinary persons perceive, such as our individual selves, the aggregates, mountains, horses, and so forth, they appear in such a way that their conventionally existent nature and the appearance of true existence are commingled. It isn't possible to isolate different elements in our perceptions so that we could say this portion of our perception is what gives the appearance of being truly existent. The rest doesn't have that appearance or that quality and so forth. Every aspect of the perceived object appears truly existent. No object can appear to the mind of ordinary person like ourselves without being mixed together with the image of the object to be negated, or what we call up to now the gadget, the object of negation. Therefore, the image of the object to be negated, or the object of negation, which can also be described as the quality of appearing to be truly existent, or like, that self that appears to be truly existent, is none other than the very way in which phenomena normally appear to our mind.
Yes.
The nangwa tanche da gaja.
Rari soje, soso jawa namje lola nawa, ganshara tangji gabja damandebe namsui jikja mewe, rari nalun diga rang, gabje namsui lam, denruje namsui yin, songre. De, ca song.
La sasu di.
Yin songre. Deni daga se shani, dende nangwa de soso ge tanda nang deba de daga se shani, ane lo so dendru so, dala yen de chebe yena, ane ndiya meba de jangja rebe doje ke song shaas, de. Dada rangri yu lo san ga yi, tsutu dendru so dala yen Nawan Lin de Ranso Shani, Gaju Rakin Shi Tsoa Nande, Dida Amayi Yenri, Tena Lala Lin Shi Yuge Mendo, Nanga Mapi Sheshe Mana, Ama Gamo de Juzon Dogos. Dere Janja Rabe Dojiki, Antango Amang Winsin Stiori, on Denangin to China.
Therefore, the object of negation is not something that should be sought outside the very conventional, the very constant conventional appearance that we have. If we cast aside, we don't take in consideration what is always there, the conventional appearance, and instead we look for some intellectual entity that is inherently or substantially existent and so on and so forth, totally separated from what is our constant conventional experience, that is a great mistake. It is a great mistake. To support this, there is a quotation from the great master Changyarolpe Dorje. It's extracted from one of his writing that is recognizing the mother. That is, nowadays, some of the bright minds, or the intelligent one, of our tradition have become attached to terms like self-existent and truly existent. They take no interest in these concrete and substantive appearances. That means, and yet they don't take that as a consideration within the conventional appearance. And they go looking for something with horns as the object to be refuted, like something exotically out of the real context. It is said that in the unobscure vision of Mother's face, none of these concrete substantive experiences are found. There are many explanations that don't penetrate the most essential points, and I fear All Mother has managed to elude them all. So Rinpoche said this is a very nice writing on emptiness of this great master Changyarolpe Dorje, and that supports the fact that the object of negation has to be found exactly right where we are, and how we perceive all the phenomena.
각자 춤에 직 각자 추바 내가 직 각자 뭐만 원장치 각자 춤에 직 문진 중 투바 중나 아니 댄드기 댄스라 소바 아니 지기 댄지 아니 내가 전에 돈이 도보다 가려면 처리해 송샤
Tenreki tenzi.
댄드기 댄지 각자 춤에 직 무슨 투바 중나 댄드지 댄식 사비 리바레레 장지장 아니 댄지 자네 당야리야 아니 갈레 내처레 송
And therefore, if you succeed in this first point, in recognizing the object of negation unmistakably, really fine-tuning your analysis and unmistakably recognizing the object of negation, then after that, the process of recognizing true existent nature in phenomena and self and so forth, up to actually eliminating the grasping to true existence, it shouldn't be that difficult. It means it gets much easier once you have finalized your recognition of the object of negation.
단데 각장 전체 사서
No, ci sono una paese.
걔나 각장 원생 찍고라 론다 드니 공부자 론다 나와 드니 아니 공부자.
So, and as a final advice here is that you should pursue recognizing the object of negation, this first point of meditation, by meditating over and over a long period of time, months and years, until that is fine-tuned and realized.
답산이 내 니바 차방예비 내 세야지 권만 해시.
No, so tomorrow is we go through the second key point, that of pervasion.
Dāgē jēnyē
Sāpe gyōwa de tendan roa kunla gampendan kye para jetsun no zan trapa